My name is Kimberly Elizabeth Johnson, and I'm a new faculty member in the Nutrition Department of the College of Health Sciences at Westchester University. I teach in our new online Masters in Community Nutrition. I have been teaching at the university level for 14 years and in an online format since 2010 in multiple classes and across multiple universities, and I've offered collaborative support for research on distance education. I find distance education is another tool to get my teaching message across to audiences that might not otherwise be able to engage in educational opportunities. The title of my presentation is Approaches for Student Engagement, Praxis in Distance Education. Praxis is the process of applying ideas, and in this short lecture workshop, I will discuss a few of the best practices I've found in my online teaching that support some of the ideas I've gleaned from research literature on distance education. I think we can all agree that class is a special place. Engagement in online class has some similarities with face-to-face classes and some differences. On the one hand, I found that in face-to-face classes, amazing things can happen, and I argue that some excellent knowledge construction can happen in classrooms, where students and faculty facilitators have to be physically present. On the other hand, I've seen some of the best discussion among students in my distance courses, and the great thing about the online format is that everyone has to contribute to course community, even if some students may lead or dominate. That doesn't always happen in face-to-face classes. However, because presence may not be synchronous or physical in distance courses, education can take on new meanings, and we need to structure our teaching a little differently. Let's first differentiate between different types of engagement in distance courses, which can include engagement with course concepts and materials, engagement with class community, other students and the faculty facilitator, engagement with technology. This also may be categorized as instant engagement with materials at hand versus long-term engagement with the course. My focus will be more on engagement with course materials and class community in the long term. For this workshop, I'd like to focus on some practical aspects for students' engagement using two concepts that come up regularly in research about quality distance education. For this workshop, I plan to look at these two concepts in the context of four areas, including course structure, student-to-student interaction, faculty communication with individuals and with the group, and student assessment. Rather than imagine distance courses as self-tutorials, imagine them as places to increase interaction between people using course materials and concepts as well as technology. This can be done through discussion, group projects, peer review, and by promoting shared learning experiences. It can also be done through creating good course policy. Important to this course structure is creating spaces for student-to-student interaction. Try an open forum for unstructured communication. I like to keep it so that I can contribute in open forums as needed if students have practical questions about things like assignments or course concepts. For discussion boards, be sure to provide guidance through questions on course concepts. I find that the most productive discussions of course concepts use applications of the concepts and provide a space for the introduction of personal experience and knowledge. Be sure to also create clear rules of interaction. Base part of evaluation on attention to the rules and provide formative feedback to encourage following the rules or adjustment if students are not on track. Westchester University's distance office rules and etiquette are a great foundation that you can include in your guidelines for class and in your grading rubric. Be sure to referee discussions, and depending on your topic, you may need more or less of this. For some faculty members who teach topics that are politicized or intimate, you may need more attention during some discussions. Be sure to make sure that your discussions are student-centered, which means making sure all students in the community have a voice and ensure that faculty voice does not dominate. Add a comment and model good etiquette. I often see students follow my model, and some of the formulas I use for responses are sandwiching, which I will talk about in a little bit. I also like to use a question to encourage a student to answer all discussion questions if they've forgotten one, or to consider another side to their response. Creating and encouraging a good learning community and promoting teaching presence can also be done through faculty communication to both individuals and the group. Some call this leaving evidence. In his blog on education, Adam Holden, head of the Department of Teacher Education at Fort Hays State University, states that regular announcements that add something of the personal are important. I find that weekly announcements that appear on the web page and are sent to students via email are a way to leave evidence of your teaching presence. You can add an encouraging message with reminders of the course purpose, challenges of the course and areas where students are doing well as areas where they can improve. No one wants to read a weekly warning about their deficits or how poorly they have done. Find a way to encourage growth and inspire engagement with material. If you're going to a conference or are sick or have personal circumstances that mean that you'll be out of the course, send an announcement around to explain and ask students to help you with their patience. This provides an opportunity for students to see you as an individual, explains an absence, and gives them a chance to reach out to you with personal commentary and make a personal connection with you. Another context for creating and encouraging a good learning community and promoting teaching presence is through student assessment. Consider reserving summative assessment feedback for quizzes and final projects if you don't already. Consider also using online quizzes that are not weighted toward the grade but are required to open the next module. These are great ways to prioritize direct assessment for a few submissions, since your online quizzes can be set to auto-grade, and this can equate to more teaching presence without increasing effort. Try to link final project summative assessment to formative assessments provided to the student all semester. So each assignment is a draft of sorts of the final project. This way, summative assessment connects to formative assessments. This is useful for students who do not seem to understand the material presented, and this may be for a variety of reasons, including personal reasons, or if a student has not been in classes for a long time. You want to demonstrate a good teaching presence and attention to learning community by redirecting a student while not discouraging their engagement. Towards this end, try the sandwiching technique mentioned earlier. In general, I use narrative feedback, and if a student hands in a submission that is less than stellar, I always try to find some positive comments about their work and sandwich areas of needed improvement. This may be as simple as, you have a great start here, and your topic of interest is important, but please read assignment parameters. You're missing 2 questions and need to respond to at least 2 classmates, and your grade will improve. I look forward to reading your work in the future. As we all know, written communication in electronic form can sound very different than face-to-face comments because we are missing body language. Sandwiching reminds a student that you're teaching because you care about student learning, and in particular you care about their learning as an individual. I have seen some great turnaround in student performance when my sandwiching comments were done correctly. Sometimes the personalizing allows students to speak out about difficult personal circumstances that you can then address with a plan. Personalized feedback for assignments and discussion promote a learning community where students are encouraged to try again and stay engaged, and it demonstrates supportive teaching presence. According to Hargreaves, the importance of ongoing relationships is significant and enables and facilitates bonds of understanding. An endnote on practical aspects of student engagement. Although we want to engage students in learning, our mission as educators is also to develop adult learners who can find an anchor and begin to learn without being prompted. Lifetime learners who know how to learn. So balance your tools for engagement with this in mind. Consider aspects of time budgeting for you and your students. If you use weekly modules, having a discussion every week will overload you and students and will weaken the quality of engagement. I know this from experience. When I started, I had weekly modules with a quiz, discussion, and assignment due every week. We were all exhausted by the end of the semester, and fewer assignments can actually accomplish the same goals. I use smaller modules with weekly module pages. Within each module, most weeks have some sort of a task, and I will switch this around. Discussion, quiz or knowledge check, or assignment, for instance. Keep it simple. If you are developing a course while you're teaching it, triage your methods of student engagement and be sure to have some personalized, some global, for example, summative of classwork, and find 1 to 2 levels to be consistently present, for example, a weekly announcement or answering emails within a time frame. Work up to increase methods of student engagement. Set boundaries, but be flexible. Do you really want to answer emails 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Explain the boundaries. Remind students as needed. Be flexible and understand your student audience. Non-traditional students, are they non-traditional students with heavy schedules? Or are they traditional students and need more help with structure and self-initiation in developing lifetime learning skills? Your engagement techniques will have to shift to accommodate different students and classes. In conclusion, student engagement can be enhanced through teaching methods that establish teaching presence and encourage a good learning community. I look forward to hearing more about the student engagement praxis of other educators at West Chester University. Please contact me if you have any comments or ideas or wish to collaborate.